Welcome to All Sorts Podcast. Imagine the crushing pressure deep down, the silence, and then this vessel moving, unseen beneath the waves.
The silent ballet, yeah.
Exactly. And today, we're not just talking about any submarine. We're really diving deep into the story of one specific boat, the USS Boise.
SSN-764.
Right, SSN-764.
Yeah.
A Los Angeles-class submarine. It's been out there, a silent guardian, for, over 30 years now?
Since 92, yeah.
And this deep dive, it's really for you, the listener. If you're curious about the forces shaping our world, sometimes hidden, sometimes technical, well, this is for you.
And focusing on the Boise, it gives us a fantastic window into the whole Los Angeles class.
Workhorse class.
Definitely the workhorse of the U.S. Navy's fast attack fleet, commissioned back in 1992. Like you said, there's just so much tech, so much human effort in just this one vessel.
So our mission today, let's unpack the key bits about this class, the 688 class, and then really zoom in on the Boise itself, its history, its significance, based on what we know.
Sounds good. Let's start broad then, with the class itself.
Okay, so the Los Angeles class, or 688 class, you mentioned workhorse. The sheer numbers are kind of mind-boggling.
They really are. 62. 62 boats built between 1972 and 1996.
And even now, in 2024, how many are still active?
24 are still in service. Think about that. Nearly half the Navy's entire fast attack force.
Wow. It really shows the staying power of the design.
It does. And, a slightly interesting detail is the naming.
Right. Not fish or sea creatures like older subs.
Mostly not. They're named after American towns and cities, like the USS Boise, obviously named for Boise, Idaho.
Obvious connection there.
Yeah. The one big exception is the USS Hyman G. Rickover.
Named after the father of the nuclear navy.
Exactly. And Rickover himself apparently quipped, fish don't vote, which sort of explains this shift.
Okay, practical. But why this class in the first place? What was the need back in the late 60s?
Well, it really boils down to the Cold War, specifically Soviet submarine advances.
They were getting better, faster, quieter.
Yeah, their new subs, especially the ballistic missile subs, were becoming a serious concern for U.S. carrier groups. The U.S. needed something faster, stealthier, something that could keep up and protect the carriers.
So the Los Angeles class was the answer.
It was. And it wasn't just one design frozen in time. It evolved over its production run. We talk about 3 flights.
Flights, like different versions.
Sort of, yeah. Flight was the original design, SSN's 688 through 718.
Okay.
Then Flight 2, that's SSN 719 to 750. They got a big upgrade.
Which was?
12 vertical launch tubes.
Yeah. For
Tomahawk cruise missiles, big deal for land attack, plus an upgraded reactor core.
Got it. More firepower, more punch inland. And Flight 3.
Flight 3, that's SSNS 751 to 773, sometimes called the 688I for improved. And this includes our boat, the USS Boise, SSN-764.
So what made them improved?
A bunch of things, really. Significantly quieter, which is huge for a submarine. A more advanced sonar suite, the BSY-1.
Okay.
They could also lay mines, and they were specifically kitted out for operating under Arctic ice.
And you can tell them apart visually, right? The fin.
Evening planes, yeah. On the 688I, they moved from the sail, that tower structure, to the bow, the front. And they were retractable, better for ice, better hydrodynamics, maybe quieter too.
So a lot of key improvements necessary to keep that edge in.
Absolutely vital. Now, should we talk specs? The actual nuts and bolts?
Yeah, let's get into the numbers. These things are big, right?
Oh, yeah. Displacement. Over 6,000 tons surfaced, almost 7,000 submerged.
That's hard to picture.
Yeah.
Like 5 jumbo jets.
Something like that, yeah. Pretty massive. Length is 362 feet. Beam width is 33 feet.
And what's pushing all that weight?
Power comes from one S6G nuclear reactor, generates something like 150 to 165 megawatts.
Wow.
That heat makes steam, drives 2 turbines, producing, a lot of horsepower. 30,000 to 33,500 shaft horsepower, turning a single propeller.
Plus a quieter electric motor.
Right, a secondary 325 horsepower electric motor for, tiptoeing around.
And speed. How fast can they actually go?
Right. Well, the official figure is over 25 knots submerged. But
what?
Reports, educated guesses, like Tom Clancy estimated maybe 37 knots. Let's just say they're very fast. Capable of bursts well over 30 knots, probably around 33.
And the range, thanks to nuclear power.
Essentially unlimited. They need refueling, but only after about 30 years.
Incredible. And they can stay down for how long?
Endurance is limited by food, usually around 90 days. Test depth is deep, 1,480 feet. That's the tested safe limit.
Nuclear power really was the revolution, wasn't it? From slow, submersible things to actual underwater warships.
Completely changed the game. Allowed for sustained high speed while submerged, which was impossible before.
Okay, so they're big, fast, stealthy.
Yeah.
What about teeth? What weapons do they carry?
They have 4 standard 21-inch torpedo tubes up front.
Standard size.
Yeah. And they can carry a mix up to 37 weapons total. That includes Mk-48 torpedoes.
Heavyweight torpedoes. Good against ships and other subs.
Very capable. Plus Tomahawk line attack missiles launched from the tubes, Harpoon anti-ship missiles, also tube-launched, and even mines like the Mk-67 mobile mine or the Mk-60 Captor mine.
And the Flight 2 and 3 boats, like Boise?
They also have those 12 dedicated vertical launch system, or VLS, tubes we mentioned, specifically for Tomahawks. Gives them a much quicker salvo capability for land attack.
Makes sense. And controlling all this, has that evolved too?
Oh, definitely. Started with older systems like the Mk-113, then went all digital with the Mk-117. The big step was the Mark I Combat Control System, the CCS.
Why was that big?
It was the one that integrated Tomahawk firing capability from the torpedo tubes. Then came the Mk2 CCS, even better, improved processing for torpedoes and handling data from towed sonar arrays, constant upgrades.
Right, keeping pace. Now, sonar. The eyes and ears. That must be incredibly advanced.
It is. The core system for a long time was the AMBQ Q5 suite.
Okay.
That uses a big spherical sonar array in the bow. You can often see the bulge, plus conformal arrays built into the hull sides.
So listening in multiple directions.
Exactly. And then they have towed arrays. Basically long cables full of hydrophones trailed way behind the sub.
Like extending their hearing range.
Massively. Gets the sensors away from the sub's own noise. Different versions existed, TB12, TB16, later the TB23, TB29, getting progressively better. And the BQQ5 itself had multiple versions, A through E.
And the 680AI boats, like Boise, got the ANBSY-1 system initially.
Right, the Submarine Advanced Combat System. It used an upgraded BQQ5E sensor suite. Had some teething problems in development, apparently.
Out from the way with complex new tech.
True. But it brought better capabilities, like something called FLIT.
FLIT.
Frequency Line Integration Tracking. Basically, a much better way to pick out the very faint specific noise signatures, the lines of other quiet submarines from all the background ocean noise. The BSY-1's hull sonar alone was said to be twice as good as previous ones.
The tech marches on. That got replaced too.
Yeah, eventually the BQQ5 and BSY-1 systems were superseded by the ANBQQ-10. That was part of a program called ARCI.
ARCI. What's that stand for?
Acoustic Rapid Commercial Off-the-Shelf Insertion. Rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it?
Catchy. So, commercial off-the-shelf. Using regular computer tech.
Essentially, yes. Leveraging the rapid advances in commercial computing power, it was a huge leap.
How huge?
Get this. A single ARCI processor unit had the same processing capability as the entire Los Angeles-class fleet's previous sonar systems combined.
Whoa. Okay, that's a lot.
It allows for incredibly complex algorithms, much better at sorting targets from clutter, identifying things. It's like going from basic hearing to having a supercomputer analyze every sound wave. Plus, it makes upgrades easier. Just slot in new software or hardware. Keeps them state-of-the-art.
Amazing. Okay, beyond weapons and sensors, what about just living and operating, the engineering stuff?
Right, the life support and auxiliary systems.
Yeah.
The hull is divided into 2 main watertight compartments.
Forward and aft.
Yep. Forward compartment has the crew living spaces, the torpedo room, command and control. The aft compartment is the engineering space reactor, engines, generators, water makers.
And they can launch SEALs.
Some are equipped for it, yeah. Using things called SEAL delivery vehicles, SDVs, little mini subs that dock onto the mother sub. There was also a plan for a bigger advanced SEAL delivery system, but that got canceled.
How do they make air for 90 days underwater?
They have an electrolytic oxygen generator. Uses electricity to split water molecules into oxygen, which the crew breathes, and hydrogen, which is safely dealt with.
Clever. And backup power.
There's an auxiliary diesel generator. Can be used on the surface or at snorkel depth for power or ventilation. Crucially, it has an emergency start capability if things go really wrong.
And the main propulsion, just to recap, reactor heats water.
Makes high-pressure steam. Steam spins the main turbines. Turbines spin the shaft and propeller.
Simple on paper, complex in reality.
Very. Those turbines also spin separate generators, the ship service turbine generators, or SSTGs, which make all the electricity for the boat. And if the main turbines fail, there's an emergency electric motor that can run off batteries or the diesel generator to provide basic propulsion.
And the reactor core itself improved over time.
Yes, the original core design was the D1G2. Later boats got the D2W core, which was more powerful and lasted longer.
Okay, so that paints a pretty detailed picture of the Los Angeles class in general. A truly capable machine.
Extremely capable. Which brings us right back to our main subject, USS Boise, SSN-764.
A Flight 3 boat, a 688I, with all those improvements we talked about.
Exactly. Her keel was laid down August 25th, 1988, at Newport News Shipbuilding.
Big shipbuilding yard.
One of the main ones for submarines. She was launched March 23rd, 1991, sponsored by Mrs. Lewis McClure.
And commissioned. When did she officially join the fleet?
November 7th, 1992. Her first commanding officer was Commander D. Miracle, and named, of course, for the city of Boise.
How many people does it take to run one of these?
The complement is listed as 12 officers and 98 enlisted personnel. A highly skilled team, absolutely essential.
And she's been busy since 1992.
Oh, yes. A very active service history, lots of deployments.
Let's run through some highlights. What was her first major deployment?
It was like October 94 to April 95. Went to the Med, Indian Ocean, Persian Gulf, standard patrol areas.
Then something called Blue Nose in 96.
Right, May to November 96. Blue Nose means they operated north of the Arctic Circle, a challenging environment.
And she did that multiple times.
She did. January to July 98 was another long deployment, North Atlantic, Med, Indian Ocean again. Then 2002, another Med, Indian Ocean, Persian Gulf trip.
Seems like a common route.
Very strategic waters. Then October 2006 to May 2007, she did a full circumnavigation.
Wow, around the world.
Yep, including a shellback ceremony crossing the equator in the Pacific in Feb. 07. That's a big tradition.
And more Blue Nose trips.
Several more. September to December 2008, June to December 2010, and April to November 2012. Really highlights her capability in Arctic conditions.
It's a lot of time spent up north. Must require specific training and equipment.
Absolutely. Under ice navigation is tricky, dangerous work. Shows the skill of the crew and the design of the 688I boats.
And her most recent listed major deployment.
August 2014 to February 2015, back to the Med, Indian Ocean, Persian Gulf pattern. So yeah, a consistent record of global presence and service.
So when you look at all that, the tech specs, the operational history of a boat like the Boise, it's pretty impressive.
It really is. The engineering, the endurance, the dedication of the crews.
And it connects to today, right? These subs are still vital.
Hugely important. The Navy says it needs around 66 attack submarines. Right now, they have fewer, maybe 49 as of mid-2024, and the number might dip further before new ones come online.
So boats like Boise are in high demand.
Extremely high demand. They're crucial for watching potential adversaries like China in the Pacific or Russia in Europe. Their stealth allows them to gather intelligence, track other subs.
And project power with those tomahawks.
Exactly. And you see things like the IUQS deal, where the U.S. plans to sell some Virginia-class subs, the successors to the Los Angeles-class, to Australia.
To bolster Allied capability in the Pacific.
That's the idea. It helps spread the load, increases presence, but it also highlights the challenges the U.S. Navy faces with crewing and maintenance backlogs. International cooperation can help.
So the crews on these boats, they're constantly busy, constantly ready.
High operational tempo, for sure. It's a demanding life, given the strategic importance of these submarines.
Reflecting on all this, the Boise, the whole class, it's just incredible engineering, decades of service.
It really is, and it makes you think, doesn't it? Consider the vastness of the ocean, this hidden world where vessels like the Boise operate silently.
Yeah.
Their missions are complex, vital, but largely unseen. And just like these subs explore the deep, here at All Sorts Podcasts, we try to dive deep too, into all sorts of fascinating topics.
Uncovering those hidden stories, the details that help us understand things better.
Exactly. So if this exploration of the USS Boise and her world has caught your interest, if you want to join us on more journeys like this,
then chart a course for the All Sorts Podcast on YouTube. Find this deep dive, give it a like, share it with anyone else who loves this kind of stuff, and definitely subscribe so you don't miss what we explore next.
And don't forget, there's a whole back catalog, a fleet of our previous deep dives waiting for you in the archives. Lots of different subjects.
Each one a unique voyage. Yeah. And to stay connected between the main broadcasts, catch extra insights.
Follow All Sorts Podcast on X, Instagram, and Threads. Your clicks, your follows, they genuinely help us keep doing this.
They really do. So we'll leave you with a final thought. What other silent guardians, what other hidden histories are operating just beneath the surface of our daily lives, shaping our world in ways we don't even realize?
Something to ponder.
Until next time, keep exploring.